meant that means that threshold will go upper. And in their response, they've not given us what is the financial implication of the increase. Thank you, Chair.
No, but you're not querying the financial implication.
We aren't querying the financial implication. We are querying compliance with the law. So now
compliance with the law, and they are saying
yes,
that that gazette notice was not operationalized.
Yes.
By
then.
HRIS KE. Is that finding correct? Because then there was breach of law and we want to mitigate. Is this an issue that you got in other counties?
Okay, I wouldn't know unless I inquire from my counterparts from other counties and see whether it was a cross-cutting issue. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I didn't get that.
I'm saying I can inquire from my other counterparts from other counties and see whether this issue was also cross-cutting in their counties. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Governor, we have complied now.
Yes, we are.
But then there was breach during the time of audit in the particular year. So I think when we're writing our report, we'll see how to treat that matter.
I think
because yes,
we have a response on the wage bill. We do not agree with the percentage.
Because it's substantive, we can deal with it at that level.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Senator.
Chair, I thought, Governor, you should have provided this information, or you got it from SRC through the chair. Why was there delay in terms of providing this information? Because it should not have escalated to the audit query. Because if you are doing entry, exit, management meeting, management letter, these things should have been resolved.
But that has now been addressed.
I've, Governor, through the chair, I've asked a simple question. So what is, you are a lawyer, what is, through the chair, what is it has been resolved, but there was a breach of law, and you know ignorance of the law is not an excuse through the chair. So how did you rectify? That's what I'm asking, because chair, it has been raised twice, just twice. Senator Dullo should be patient. It has been raised twice. So that's my only concern in the previous financial year and this year. So
the system was not updated.
No, that is what I'm saying. HRS was paid outside. Even in IPPD, it has been captured in unsolved prior year matters at Appendix 1, the same issue. So even if it has been rectified, there was a breach of law. So I expected the governor to say the steps taken, he has not indicated what he has taken, including
in terms of administrative action.
Yes.
Governor?
The steps taken, we have rectified. What is important is that there was a mistake. It has been corrected.
Chair, can you assist the governor? I don't want to come back again. He says steps taken, but there is a breach of the law.
General is saying there's a breach of law. So that person who breached the law, then some administrative action should be taken to mitigate, either a warning letter, training, or whatever. Review through the auditor. I want us to look at 5. That is avoidable expenditure on accrued interest. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. A review of records established that an amount of Kenya shillings 5,749,700 was paid to a private legal practitioner as legal fees. The court had ruled that the county executive pays the plaintiff an amount of Kenya shillings 3,938,604 less payee by 1st October 2021. However, management paid a total of Kenya shillings 5,749,700 as legal fees, resulting to overpayment occasioned by accrued interest totaling Kenya shillings 1,811,096 as a result of failure to settle the payment in time. This was contrary to Section 162, Subsection 2, Subsection B of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states that every public officer employed in or by the county government shall ensure that resources within their officer's area of responsibility was made to a widow of a former member of staff under work injury benefit who died in line of duty in June 2014. The total amount payable was Kenya shillings 15,848,544, determined by the director. The failure to maintain an insurance policy with an insurer was not explained. This was contrary to Section 7, Subsection 1 of the Work Injury Benefit Act 2017, which provides that every employer shall obtain and maintain an insurance policy with an insurer approved by the minister in respect of any liability that the employer may incur under this act to any of his employees. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Our Director Legal will respond to that. But I must also point out that even if the staff we lost during June 14.
We can start with the response.
Yeah.
The way it is done, then you can add that later on.
Maybe.
Let's hear the response first.
Okay.
You said your name is?
My name is Kulthum Harith.
Okay. Director Legal. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The delayed payment of Kenya shilling 5,749,700 to the claimant advocate being the decretal amount awarded in Rafael Munya Ndungu versus the County Government of Lamu 2018 and Rafael Munya Ndungu versus the County Government of Lamu 2021 arose from the non-settlement of the decree by the previous administration and failure to provide a handing over report on cases outsourced and status, leading to accrual of interest. Upon establishing the existence and status of the judgment, the current county executive took steps to address the outstanding liability and mitigate further financial exposure to the county government. Consequently, provisions were made and payment effecting during the financial year 2023-2024 and financial year 2024-2025 to settle the decretal amount in full. The settlement of the decretal amount demonstrates the county government commitment to complying with court orders, reducing contingent liability, and promoting prudent financial management and development programs. Work injury benefit compensation without insurance cover. The county executive acknowledged the payment of Kenya shilling 7,169,709 to the estate of the late Mr. Ayub Kinyuma Mbogo in compliance with the directive issued by the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services via its letter reference number WIBA CGL 1432 dated 6 February 2020. The late Mr. Ayub Kinyuma Mbogo lost his life during the Mpeketoni terror attack in 2014 at a time when devolution had recently been operationalized and the county governments were still in their formative stages. Consequently, the county government had not yet procured a work injury benefit insurance cover for its employee. In recognition of the deceased entitlement to compensation under the Work Injury Benefit Act, Cap 236 of the laws of Kenya, and in order to avoid protracted litigation and the attendant legal cost, as well as to evaluate the hardship faced by the deceased dependents who relied on him for their livelihood, maintenance, and education, the county government paid the amount assessed and directed by the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection through the Directorate of Occupational Safety and Health Services. A review of legal liability is undertaken to prevent delay and avoid the accrual of interest.
LAMU is doing quite well in terms of giving quite comprehensive answers. Auditor, what is still outstanding?
Outstanding is in their response they've indicated that they're in negotiation with correspondence with SHA to explore whether they can actually have an insurance covering employees on work injury. So I think that is what is work in progress. So we didn't get any correspondence from them. So I think as we go into the in-year audits, we'll actually inquire and see whether there is active engagement. Thank you, Chair.
But on the issue of paying interest on the decretal sum, there's nothing much you can do about it.
There's nothing much you can do because the first one was based on a court order and the second one was also based on government department directive. Thank you, Chair.
But then the steps taken, can they suffice to mitigate?
What now they've not told us is
It's okay. Senator Andy?
Governor, I've noticed, I've read this report. I've noticed there is a lot of breach of law. You know, I'll not forgive you because you are a lawyer. And I want to repeat that if there is no excuse of the law, you don't have, and your legal person is just there. But Chair, since we adopted this report as is, I want to take the trajectory that we have taken, all steps taken. I wish for efficiency, they would have, and for example, let me just pick a very good survivor. So Chair, the budgetary on the issue of the register of claims, Chair, and then the budgetary provision through contingent liability, and then finally, Chair, on these degrees that the courts have issued. If the governor would have attached, then we cannot just take the word for it.
Okay. Governor?
Chair, within the next 7 days, we can deliver that to the Senate.
The Chair,
management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Regarding the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant through the request of a quotation method, and appreciate the concern raised on compliance and regulation 91 of the Public Procurement and Asset Regulation 2020 and the expenditure threshold for RFQ contained in the second schedule. After reviewing the matter, management wishes to provide the following clarifications. Departments in the county government are independent procuring entity as defined under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Section 2 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act defines public entity to include any organ or department of county government. In line of this definition, each county department was treated as distinct procuring entity with its own designated accounting officer as provided for under Section 44 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. Accordingly, each department initiated and managed its own procurement process based on its approved procurement plan and budget. Each fuel purchase was conducted within the RFQ threshold. The procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant by department was undertaken individually, and each request fell within the allowable RFQ threshold of 3 million per procurement, in accordance with Section 105 of PPAD Act 2015, Regulation 91 of the PPAD Regulation 2020, and second schedule of threshold matrix. No single requisition exceeded the prescribed limit, and therefore the procurement method applied was compliant at the departmental level. Decentralized procurement was based on operational structure. Department initiate fuel procurement due to their operational needs, such as field operation, transport logistics, and machinery support. Each department also maintain its own vote book of account and spending authority, making it necessary to conduct procurement at the departmental level rather than centrally. The decentralized approach was therefore consistent with the departmental mandate, budgetary allocation, and the operational need to ensure continuity service delivery. Aggregation was not practically possible, although the overall county expenditure appears consolidated at the financial statement level. This does not reflect the translational reality entity under the Act, Section 2. Improvement measures going forward. To enhance compliance and avoid misinterpretation in future audits, management in implementation of the following actions. Central consolidation of fuel framework contracts to supplement departmental RFQ where appropriate. In conclusion, management therefore maintained that the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricant was conducted in compliance with the Public Procurement Act 2015 and Regulation 2020. Each county department qualified as a public entity under Section 2 of the Act. Each department had its own accounting officer and initiated procurement independently. All purchases were within the 3 million RFQ threshold as provided by under Section Regulation 91 and second schedule. Steps taken. The county government undertook an open...
Leave that, eh?
Yes.
Because it's quite long. Auditor, that explanation, how does it sit with you? that each department was doing procurement separately.
Thank you,
It was
Chair.
less than 3 million, but when you aggregate, then it becomes very big.
So now what we would have loved to see was just to see the list of LPOs that were issued in respect of each department with amounts indicating that the threshold of 3 million was actually met by all. And if you aggregate them, then you arrive at the total figure. That would have made a lot of sense. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I have a problem with your indulgence. OAG, so when you saw this advert for the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricants, it was one consolidated tender, as per your observation, because in your certificate you have raised that when it is below 3 million, you can request through quotation, but when it is above, of course, you tap it. So when you were auditing, this was a consolidated tender.
No, it was not a consolidated tender.
Then why were you arguing that they procured beyond the threshold of request for quotation through the chair of 3 million?
Thank you, Chair. The audit observation was that if you look at the total fuel consumption, which is 67 million,
Correct.
that amount is huge. And if you are to do an open tender, then it is more efficient to manage because it can be controlled from a central point in terms of management and accountability. Thank you, Chair.
So finally, Chair, I've seen the governor has indicated, given detail, but you have said steps taken is now for open tender process for the supply. Governor, what was the reasoning of segregating these tenders and ensuring, we saw yesterday in Wajir that there was 1.9, 1.9, 1.9. So why were you segregating to 3 million through your person? Why were you segregating? What is the justification? Because 67 million segregating into 3 million each, it will appear as Kambas and Malamsa. Or does it mean the access to fuel and lubricants in LAMU is a big problem?
Yes, Governor.
Chair, I think this was for efficiency in operations. You have, we have like the Department of Health. We have level 4 hospitals, King Fahd, Pfizer Hospital, and Peketoni Hospital, each having their peculiar requirement for fuel. So for efficiency, we allowed the departments to procure.
Chair, just Governor, sorry for taking you, I know we are rushing against time. If today you give this opportunity to, for example, Shell or Ruby's or Starbucks or whichever, or Starbucks or Ruby's or Shell or Total, I thought when you give tender, if there is a Shell that is next to King Fahd, they get their service there. Or you don't have maybe the senator, or you don't have a petrol station, for example, that is prominent within Lamu County, or a company that is prominent.
Not really. The geography is a challenge.
Yes, Treasury. Please help us.
Yes.
Chair, maybe if I may understand the transaction, is that the county entities were procuring fuel, but the problem is they were not marked such that now the aggregated figure is reflected in the executive